to another episode of the School World ELL Talks. For today's video, we're gonna talk about from cyberspace to cybernetic space. Let's get started.
Hi classmates! Today, for today's video, we are going to talk about from cyberspace to cybernetic space. We're thinking the relationship between real and virtual spaces. Before we start, please watch this video.
Oh, I have to get home quick and get on the internet. My mini homepage, messengers, email, games. Yes! Class is over! Let me see who visited my page today. Wow! Lots of people came. I guess I'll play games now. Boram, are you ready for today's game?
Yeah, of course.
Dude, dinner's ready.
I'm not hungry.
Oh, I call quits.
Why? We're so close to a level up.
Dude, I'm going to get some groceries. Don't miss the class at the academy.
Yeah.
Hey, we're late for class.
It's only one day. What harm can it do?
Oh, I'll get in trouble for this. Whatever. Let's go and sleep.
No! Play some more! Hey! Don't fall asleep!
Dude, what are you doing on the internet? Not sleeping?
Who are you?
You'll be addicted to the internet if you're on it for so long.
Internet addiction?
Okay, shall we look over how you've been using the internet? You should all try this out. OX Quiz with Nettie. I play games or chat on the internet for more than 4 hours a day. I miss out on academies and other activities due to the internet. I like making cyber friends more than my family. You are using way too much internet. You might be addicted to the internet.
Me? No way! I can't be!
Oh yeah? Then try to think about how your past life has been.
Every day you're on the internet and look at this. 30 points? What is this?
Sir, Duel's asleep again.
Why? Why do you never do your homework?
Then what do I do?
Try fixing your internet using habits from now on. First, get on the internet only when you absolutely have to. Second, keep an internet usage diary. Third, try hanging out with friends and participate in activities. Got it?
Yeah, I'll make sure I keep all those things in mind.
Always remember that a proper internet using habit prevents internet addiction. A vow for the prevention of internet addiction. Number 1. I will keep my computer where I can share it with my parents. Number 2. I will use the computer after finishing my daily work. Number 3. I will use the computer to find necessary information. Number 4. I will keep diary of my computer usage, time, and content. Number 5. I will not miss my bedtime because of the internet.
So that video explains our discussion for today. So we could perceive from that video that how internet or how computer affects our daily living. This is the explanation of why from cyberspace to cybernetic space. We're thinking the relation between real and virtual places. So as we further discuss the topics, we could discern how virtual spaces affect or influence our real spaces. So, the entry of the internet into the everyday lives of millions of people across the globe has begun to transform many different aspects of our material experiences, such as those of identity, community, and interpersonal interaction. So, this paper by Ananda Mitra and Raylene Swartz by the Department of Communication, Wake Forest University. In this essay, they examined the way in which the constructs of place and space are being reshaped as individuals and groups are compelled to spend time with cyberspace. So, what is space? Does space look like this or wherever? So, in this topic, we do not define space as what it is in the pictures, like Iron Man in space, Avengers in space. No, that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is space as geography. Perhaps one of the most fundamental ways of thinking about space is embedded in the experience of being located in a particular spot on Earth, often knowing exactly where we are. So, in the humanistic geography, space and place are important concepts. Concepts that in this approach doesn't mean the same. So, it means that space and place are two different things. Space is something abstract without any substantial meaning, while place refers to how people are aware or attracted to a certain place of space, or a certain piece of space. A place can be seen as space that has a meaning. We could summarize the two by the definition of 1997, page 3. Space is freedom, while place is security. Space can be described as a location which has no social connections for a human being. No value has been added to this space. According to 1977, it is an open space but may mark off and defend it against intruders. It does not invite or encourage people to fill the space by being creative. No meaning has been described to it, and it is more or less abstract. So we could define space as the pictures of the world map. We could say that all of these are spaces. So to summarize, a space is a blank slate, a physical location that has yet to be colored with personal experience. On the contrary, place is in contrary more than just a location. So unlike space, it is more than just a location and can be described as a location created by human experiences. The size of this location does not matter and is unlimited. It can be a city, neighborhood, a region, or even a classroom, etc. In fact, place exists of space that is filled within meanings and objectives by human experiences in this particular space. Places are centers where people can satisfy their biological needs such as food, water, and etc. 1977. So, we could summarize place as a context that inhabits personal memories, experiences, and associates from one within it. So, in the first slide of our PowerPoint, our title is Where Am I? So, one's very existence can be threatened if she or he is unsure of the current spatial location on some real map that points out the areas of peril and areas of safety, meaning that it is really it's really scary if one doesn't know where he or she is. So the fundamental desire to ask the question about the location has driven colonials to take elaborate steps to map the worlds they colonize. So that drive has been refined with advanced technologies as humans have increasingly been able to obtain sophistical maps of the world with satellite technologies and composite pictures of the globe. Witness, for instance, the way in which manufacturers are able to sell global positioning systems, or GPS, with which we can carry around a little instrument that tells us exactly where we are on the globe. So in the video of Tony and Jarvis talking to each other, it is not really focus entirely on the high technology that Tony has. We should focus on how Jarvis certain technology we can relate it to our GPS can somehow identify or can really identify where are the exact location of what Tony wants to know. So if we could relate it to a normal setting, we could say that Tony is a person, or for example, I am Tony, and I'm searching for a place where I could go, where I am searching for the place I need to be in, or I need to be here in this specific place. But I don't know how to be in that place. So I have to use GPS. So I have to use Jarvis.
Hi there.
Hi.
Nice day, huh?
Yeah, finally, right?
Where are you from? Your English is perfect.
San Diego. We speak English there.
Oh, no. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Orange County, but I never actually lived there.
I mean before that.
Before I was born.
Yeah, like, where are your people from?
Well, my great-grandma was from Seoul.
Korean. I knew it. I was like, she's either Japanese or Korean. But I was leaning more towards Korean.
Amazing.
Hamshasina. There's a really good teriyaki barbecue place near my apartment. So I actually really like kimchi.
Cool. What about you? Where are you from?
San Francisco.
But where are you from?
Oh, I'm just American.
Really? You're Native American?
No, just regular American. Oh, well, I guess my grandparents are from England.
Oh, well. Hello, Governor! What's all this then? Top of the morning to you. Let's get a sporty. Double, toil and trouble. Mind the gap! Beware, Jack the Ripper! Bloody hell! Pip! Cheerio! I think your people's fish and chips are amazing.
You're weird.
Really? I'm weird? Must be a Korean thing. Fish and chips, pheasants, clotted cream, bangers and mash, Guinness, ploughman's lunch, a spot of tea, a pint of ale.
So, what you have watched is an example of space as political borders. So, where we were born is being defined as our identity, or what do I mean by this? If I were born in the Philippines, I would be considered as a Filipino. That is an example of space political borders because we are depending on the place, or we are depending on the space we are born in and we grew up in to know what is our cultural identity. So to know where one is on the earth not only creates a sense of certainty with respect to location, but it also serves as a reminder that we are part of a large and complex system of classification where location is tied to political, social, religious, and ultimately national categories, Wood 1982. This classification at its macroscopic level is the idea of the nation-state, King 1996. Fundamental to most political discourse is the recognition of the existence of the nation-state, with well-defined and adequately protected geographic boundaries. Space defined by political boundaries is thus a part of the popular cultural consciousness, which eventually reminds us that we are Americans, or British, or Nigerians, precisely because we live our everyday lives within certain well-defined boundaries and carry with us official identity documents to legitimate our movements in and out of those spaces. So, as I've said earlier, where in the place where we are born and we grew up in, that is the place where that would define us or classify us as this kind of person. So if we live in Asia, then we like rice. And if we live in America, then we are labeled as liberated, or we do not like rice. So, space defines who we are.
あの日、星が降った日。それはまるで
夢の景色のように
美しい眺めだった。やっと目を覚ましたかい。放課後？悪い、俺今日これからバイト。
もうこんな田舎やだよ。こんな人生やだ。来世は東京のイケメン男子にしてくださ
い。どこ？
そういえばずっと変な夢を見てたような気がするんだけど、別の人の人生の夢？
なんだこれ。
これってもしかして
俺たちは夢の中で入れ替わってる？君の全然前世から僕は君を探し始めたの。
確かなことが一つだけある。私たちは会えば絶対すぐにわかる。
言おうと思ったんだ。お前が世界のどこにいても必ず会いに行くって。
あなたは誰？
お前は誰だ？君の名は。
So now let's talk about real and virtual places. Real spaces and virtual spaces. So you have watched a video of Kimi no Nawa, an animation, and a live action of that, a remake of that movie, and it's made by Filipinos. So we could say that this live action video is a real space because it was made through real places in the Philippines, while the animation could be a virtual space because it is made with internet, computer, and such. We could also consider our social media accounts as virtual space because we mostly use our time there. We mostly stay in that for a long time and post our feelings, post our pictures, share our everyday moments. So we could really consider our social media accounts like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as virtual space, while our daily living could be considered as real space. For example, I am working inside, or I am studying inside the library. So in that context, the library is a real space, and I'm sitting in a chair while I'm writing, and that context is a real space. While if I am browsing through my Facebook, I'm browsing my Facebook, my Instagram, that context of Facebook and Instagram is considered as virtual spaces. So to summarize the introduction, in this essay, the researchers raised the ancillary question of how has our dependence on the internet transformed the notion of space and place. So now that the internet has become a central player in popular culture, it is possible and necessary to begin to understand how the internet might have begun to transform our traditional notions of space. The researchers attempt to answer the question by grounding it within the essential elements of thinking about space, as discussed earlier. It then looked back at specific elements of the relationship between the internet and the real space and the key consequences of that relationship. So, internet and space, transforming relationships. So, the fact that people are now spending more time in front of a computer monitor has begun to make computer users acutely aware of the way in which their working space are defined around computing devices and peripherals. So now that a lot of people are addicted to internet, to computers, to social media accounts, our real space became more of a working space, became a working virtual space. So let's talk about cyberspace. So what do we mean by cyberspace? The definition of Benedict of cyberspace is this: access through any computer linked to the system. A place, one's place, limitless. Entered equally from a basement in Vancouver, a boat in port, a cabin in New York, a garage in Texas City, an apartment in Rome, an office in Hong Kong, a bar in Kyoto, a cafe in Sheza, a laboratory in the moon. So we could see in the picture that there is this young children who are playing computer in a PisoNet. So yeah, they're using PisoNet to play games, connect with their friends, their classmates, and the definition Benedict sees this as a kind of cyberspace. The value of cyberspace within this definition lies precisely in the fact that it can be accessed from any place on Earth. It's like what you see in the picture of this child or this children. However, this ability itself begins to redefine the individual's relationship with real space. Indeed, if entering cyberspace becomes critical to one's existence, then there will be necessarily consequence or consequent transformations of how one looks at real life. So the value of a physical location is predicated upon its user friendliness and allowing the user to enter the virtual world. So the internet is now beginning to transform how we look at and design the real spaces we are forced to inhabit. So take a look at these two photos. So we could see that a man is holding a tablet with a Wi-Fi sign on it, and these two people holding their laptops, and they're probably making stuff in it. So this tendency to transform spaces as well as the representation of the spaces has permitted to spaces such as airplanes, with airlines now advertising the ability to connect to the internet, albeit through limited services, so that even when we might be moving from one geographic place to another, we do not lose our connection to our usual virtual places. Airline seats are now being wired to let us connect to the internet, even if we are 30,000 feet above sea level. In addition to new furniture designs and internet-enabled airline seats, another outcome of the desire to redefine and redesign one's real-life space is the way in which we are the beginning to re-engineer our everyday living spaces to gain easy access to the internet. So what do we mean by this? So we can see that before there's no really Wi-Fi, there's no really internet that we call nowadays. So what do I mean by the internet beginning to transform how we look at and design the real spaces? So for example, if we are in the airplane, it is kind of obvious that if we are 30,000 above sea level, there's really limited connection. However, because of people are now addicted, or people really need internet in our lives, the airlines adjusted so that they can provide the needs of their passengers. So we can see that our real spaces, for example, the people who are inside the airplane, instead of just being or just waiting to arrive at their destination, they have the ability, or they have the capability to access the internet and visit or be in their virtual world. So that means that we transform our real life spaces, just like how airlines adjusted to have Wi-Fi. We adjusted our real life space to have a virtual space. So that's what we mean by transforming. So for the next video, you can see how a high-tech trash can, or that's just a meme. That's just a meme. But we can see that there's really an increasing trend to rethink how we construct the real spaces and our relationship with real space so that we can easily access the virtual place. So that's what I earlier, that we adjust nowadays to become connected to our virtual space, in which in the first place we shouldn't need, or we don't need to do that, because we have this real space. We have our real space that even though we don't have a virtual space, we can still live. However, through the innovation, or through, because we have now a modern society, a modern world, people are now really addicted to internet, that we almost changed all our real space just to conform to the virtual space that we have. So with this, like many others, has demonstrated is the relationship between the real and the virtual, and the need to understand that these together as a new synthetic space in order to begin to resolve some of the questions that come up simultaneously in the real and virtual. So in the next part of this video, the researchers suggest a way to think about such a synthetic space. So does virtual place influence real space, or does real space influence virtual space, or do both influence each other, or do the two of them have a complex relationship? So in the next part of this video, you would understand how cyberspace becomes cybernetic space.
Now, in finding a new space wherein it is the cybernetic space, according to Foucault, 1986, we live inside a set of relations that delineate sites. Indeed, the emerging relationship between the real and virtual space is precisely at point of opening such relationships that are creating new sites and spaces that can have their own intrinsic power because of the unique set of connections that are being established between the real and virtual. Therefore, cybernetic space connects the virtual world and the physical world. Since internet and space are transforming according to what is mentioned a while ago, so the global interest also will be upgrading into such a high-tech or innovative one. And then, for example, before, the means of market or selling of the goods was the brick and mortar or the traditional ones, but now it is little by little replaced by the virtual institutions or the e-business. And then collections of diasporic people who are creating their nations on the net to find points of commonality that the real life spatial disruption might have disconnected. Now, what are these we call diasporic people? Those are the peoples who live in a traditional space. Then they used to live in a traditional space, and then they go out and try to explore a different world wherein it is the virtual space. Now, what is the consequence of this internet and cybernetic space in the present time? It alters the essential elements of space, which is mentioned a while ago, like the location, the religious views, and the political ones. And then it also alters the physical world. According to Rogers, 1995, he argues that the examination of technologies diffused as newly innovations. He said that we can strike a balance between the real life and the virtual world, in which the people nowadays are using virtual worlds and the physical worlds at the same time. Because, for example, the people, if they need something to seek the answer, and then they go to the internet or the Google, they search anything they are curious about, and then they can seek answers in that medium. Now, for the significance of internet and cybernetic space to children and adolescents, we have here the identity experimentation and exploration, wherein adolescents are grappling with who they are. Actually, we all are. It's a lifelong process, but for adolescents on the verge of leaving home and establishing their own life, it's a particularly intense issue. What kind of person am I? What do I want to do with my life? And what kind of relationships do I want? These are the heavy questions, and some of the answers can be found in the cyberspace. Another one is the intimacy and belonging. During adolescence, humans experiment intensely with new intimate relationships, especially opposite-sex relationships. They look for comrades and new groups where they can feel a sense of belonging. All these relationships becomes a big part of exploring one's own identity. On the internet, there is an almost limitless way of people and groups to interact with. All kinds of people and groups with all kinds of personalities, backgrounds, values, and interests. Next is for venting their frustrations. An old theory about adolescents proclaimed that it is a period of storm and stress. That theory may be a bit melodramatic, but the teen years certainly can be a difficult and frustrating period of life. Expectations from school, family, and friends can feel overwhelming. What do you do with all those frustrations, including the sexual and aggressive ones? You need to vent it somewhere, and that is by the means of cyberspace. Next is exploring social skills and personal identity. If adolescents spend a lot of time conversing on the internet, it's inevitable that their online social skills will improve. They will be encountering people of various ages and cultural backgrounds. So they have the opportunity to learn on how to relate a wide variety of people. Under optimal conditions, those skills may carry over their perspective in life. But upon using in cyberspace, we need to strike a balance in the physical world and the virtual world. We should not alter the physical world from the virtual world, which is not good, where in some cases it causes addictions to the children.
Thank you for watching today's episode. See you on our next video of the School World ELL Talks.